Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA Intelligence Platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. This episode is sponsored by Postman. Postman is the world's leading API platform, trusted by 98% of the Fortune 500 and over 40 million developers. Tap into APIs from 18,000 plus companies to power agents that make smarter decisions. Learn more at postman.com/podcast/codestory. This message is sponsored by Melee Search. Today, search isn't just a feature, it's a cornerstone. And Melee Search gives your users the experience they need with lightning-fast performance, full-text search, AI usage, and multimodal capabilities. Melee Search delivers relevant results in less than the blink of an eye. Use the promo code CODESTORY at checkout to get 2 months free at meleesearch.com. That's MEILI search.com.
So one of the big challenges to build enterprise-grade products built by very small startups is the scope. How do you even come up with a scope that is actually practically achievable by small teams? And what would you take as tech debt and all of that? Especially when you are selling to large enterprises, they would ask lots of features. So I wouldn't say it was easy to draw the scope and decide what we're going to build later versus now. But I think the customer interviews came in handy. And I think there's a concept of MSP, minimal sellable product, right? So I think we tried to follow the MSP rather than MVP. My name is Buchi Reddy. I'm the founder and CEO of Levo.ai.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do next.
Took many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve
I was
more.
proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was a
Yes,
pain.
we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took it
you.
off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really
It's
want it.
not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Labhart, and today how Buchi Reddy has built the platform to help your enterprise ensure that you don't pause innovation or risk security. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. Don't settle for less when you can have more, MOR, with Paddle, your merchant of record. Eliminate the headaches of payments, grow your revenue everywhere, and focus on what you do best, building your product. Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When off is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with Propel Off. Check them out at propeloff.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. Buchi Reddy lives in North Austin, having recently moved there with his family. He's originally from South India and grew up in a farming family before moving to the metro and studying engineering. Post-college, he spent many years building high-frequency trading systems before moving to Silicon Valley and joining companies there, like Cisco and Traceable, which you as the audience are very familiar with from our episode with Sanjay in Season 9 and the Hype Month series we did called The Haunted House of APIs and Halloween. Outside of tech, he is married with a 7-year-old son. He and his family enjoy hiking, overnight camping, and living just far enough away from the craziness of downtown Austin to still enjoy it. While he was interviewing customers at a prior company, Buchi spotted a wide gap for enterprises where APIs were not tested properly before going to production. Baffled by this, he wanted to go bridge the gap and build something to automate this testing. This is the creation story of Levo.ai.
Levo is an API security platform, proactive API security platform to be precise. And what do we mean by that? API security has gained its traction in the recent years after more and more API-based data breaches have become common. And APIs have become one of the largest threat vectors. And so API security falls as a subcategory under application security. So web apps, mobile apps, and now APIs. So all of this is in the broader application security umbrella. And the way I started Levo, actually prior to Levo, I was in the last 12 years I spent in Silicon Valley. A big part of it, like close to 6 years, I spent in a company called AppDynamics, which was in the application performance monitoring category, APM tools like Datadog, Neural Lakes, Dynatrace, etc. And AppDynamics got acquired by Cisco in 2017 January, and I was there as part of the acquisition. And after the acquisition, like Cisco team was like paying close attention to the AppDynamics product and how we are doing the software development life cycle and how we are taking care of security. That was my first encounter with like in some top-notch product and application security people. And I learned a ton, but more importantly, I've started noticing the gaps in what exactly we do to secure our applications before they go into production. And after that, I got an opportunity to be a founding member of a company called Traceable.ai, started by the same founder of AppDynamics, Jyoti Bansal, very well-known name in the Valley. And that was a great opportunity where I dug deeper into API security and started understanding. But at that point, Traceable and few other tools were focusing mainly looking at production aspects of API security. And I saw a gap, not much, especially with respect to proactively testing the APIs, not much was being done in the market. And actually, I started paying attention to authorization aspects of the API. So initially, when I stumbled on Levo.ai idea, I was not even thinking it like API security, rather thinking more like access control and authorization. And as we were digging deeper into, and we did customer interviews and all, I had a co-founder. He was a product manager at AppDynamics, and his name is Harish Natraj. So both of us did some more customer interviews, and that's how we spotted this wide gap where APIs were not security tested before they go into production. And the access control authorization aspects of APIs were like broadly manually tested, and that was leading to a bunch of these gaps, and which were eventually causing the data breaches. So that's how I ended up on this proactive API security idea, and we were the first to introduce completely automated API security testing as a concept to the market. And we have done some other innovation like leveraging eBPF to do API discovery and stuff like that.
Let's dive into the MVP then, so that first version of the product you built. How long did it take to build, and what sort of tools were you using to bring it to life?
It took almost 7-8 months actually, because it's a deeply technical product. And like I said, we also needed to build this eBPF based sensor, which is tapping into traffic, API calls or API traffic at a system call level. And I think we were using the regular tools. Like back then, AI, vibe coding and all was not like very popular. So we were doing it like a typical startup. Me and my co-founder, we hired a couple of other engineers, fairly generalists, I would say. Like one person was very specifically focused on systems engineering and EBPF, but others were fairly generalists. The typical stack, the platform was built on Java, so IntelliJ, and then our EBPF sensor is built in C, C++. Also, we were using CLine and stuff like that. I can't think of any crazy tools that we used at just back then.
Let's stay on that MVP for a minute. I'm curious about, maybe a decision or trade-off you had to make when you're building that early version. Here are the tools you're using, but maybe around like how you approach the problem, or how you built it, or maybe technical debt, kind of acceptance. Tell me about some of those things you had to work through and how you coped with them.
So one of the big challenges to build enterprise-grade products built by very small startups is the scope. How do you even come up with a scope that is actually practically achievable by small teams, and what would you take as tech debt and all of that? Especially when you're selling to large enterprises, they would ask lots of features. So I wouldn't say it was easy to draw the scope and decide what we're going to build later versus now. But I think the customer interviews came in handy, and I think there's a concept of MSP, minimal sellable product, right? So I think we tried to follow the MSP rather than MVP, because as a startup, especially venture back, you got to actually show some traction and you got to show some value to the customers. Only then they would be buying your product. So yeah, it was quite challenging. But when it comes to the overall API security platform, we decided that automatically security testing APIs for the top 3 common vulnerabilities we included as part of the MSP, and eBPF-based automated discovery of APIs. So we included both of these as the initial starter, and even we tried to minimize all the bells and whistles and some of the enterprise readiness that we pushed in down the lane, and we tried to deliver this in the first version of the product.
This episode is brought to you by Paddle. As a startup, you face unique challenges to stay competitive. You and your team need to stay focused on your product, not your payments. You need to do more, MOR, and DIY less. With Paddle. Paddle is your merchant of record, becoming the seller of record for your SaaS transactions, enabling your team to focus on what's important, your product. Paddle handles all payment management across multiple gateways and methods, taking ownership of tax liability while remaining compliant with regulations across all markets. The platform handles all aspects of SaaS billing models, upgrades, add-on, trials, and more. Let's look at the results. MOR revenue optimization is built into Paddle and accounts for up to 16% higher conversion rates, reduced payment failures, localized pricing, and churn prevention, recovering 40% of cancellations. Their developer-friendly tools are API first with comprehensive documentation, removing the burden from your engineers. With Paddle as your merchant of record, you'll generate more revenue, find and keep more customers, grow faster, and stay compliant everywhere. So what are you waiting for? Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA intelligence platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. This episode is sponsored by Mailtrap, an email platform developers love. Try for free at mailtrap.io. That's mailtrap.io. This episode is sponsored by Postman. APIs are the foundation of reliable AI, and reliable APIs start with Postman. Trusted by 98% of the Fortune 500, Postman is the platform that helps over 40 million developers build and scale the APIs behind their most critical business workflows. With Postman, teams get centralized access to the latest LLMs and APIs, MCP support, and no-code workflows, all in one platform. Quickly integrate critical tools and build multi-step agents without writing a single line of code. Start building smarter, more reliable agents today. Visit postman.com/podcast/codestory to learn more. That's postman.com/podcast/codestory. This message is sponsored by .tech Domains. Picture this. You dig deep and think of an amazing name for your tech startup, spending months to perfect it. And then you settle for a cluttered .com domain with fillers and added words. Yeah, it's really disappointing. That is, unless you get a clean, sharp, and memorable .tech domain. .tech signals loud and clear that tech is at your startup's core. A .tech domain shows your focus and intent, building credibility with VCs and customers, and anyone who sees it knows instantly this is a tech startup. If you are building a tech startup, you want a .tech domain, and that's because it just makes sense. And if I were you, I'd skip the workaround domains and go straight for the loudest signal. Head over to get.tech/codestory or a domain registrar like GoDaddy or Namecheap and grab the perfect .tech domain today. That's get.tech/codestory. So then let's move forward. So you got the first version of the product built. How did you progress and mature it? And I think to wrap in a box a little bit, what I'm looking for is how you built your roadmap, how you went about deciding, okay, this is the next most important thing to build or to address with Levo.
We rely heavily on customer feedback for all of that, like customers. Early stages, there's 100 things that we could potentially build, and if we try to use our creativity or even the vision that founders have, sometimes you could actually end up building a lot more than what is needed, and you may not have enough time actually, because the founders are always like full of ideas, but what matters is what customers need. We try to give what we built in V1 into the hands of customers, and then started watching what they are using, what they are not using, and also paying very close attention to where we are losing, or like why the POVs are not starting. In some cases, is it due to lack of some integration, some features? So the POVs also drove a big part of our roadmap actually. We have conversations with companies, and some of them say, hey, your idea looks good, but I cannot start a POV with you right now because you don't have such integration. So that gets added to the roadmap. Of course, we stack rank and to the voting because we cannot build every integration out there, but we ended up building biggest integrations that open up most POVs for us. So that was a big part of our roadmap. And then, of course, like once the customers become paid customers, their inputs matter a lot.
Okay, so I hear you saying tell me about how you built your team. What do you look for in those people to indicate that they're the winning horses to join you?
I would say curiosity and alignment for our vision. And third, understanding how startups work. That's because basically we got to move pretty fast. They have to be generalists. And if they don't fully understand how startups work and why we do what we do, they would not be able to survive here. And of course, the curiosity, number one thing, is actually an important ingredient or important quality or trait for every engineer in general, but even more at startups like us. So that's what we look for, fairly generalists who are very curious-minded and who understand and align with our vision.
This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, Propel Auth adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When auth is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with Propel Auth. Check them out at propelauth.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. This episode is sponsored by MailySearch. In today's digital landscape, search isn't just a feature, it's a cornerstone. And you need a user experience that drives customer satisfaction. You need MailySearch. MailySearch has lightning-fast performance, returning answers in less than 50 milliseconds. Yeah, you heard that right. Faster than the blink of an eye. The open-source AI search engine is plug-and-play, so you can get up and running in minutes with smart presets, allowing you to start searching through your data with zero configuration. MailySearch utilizes advanced full-text search and AI, ensuring your results are ultra-relevant with semantic depth. It's multimodal, supporting images, videos, and audio, along with being federated, i.e. searching across multiple data sources. And it's developer-friendly. Whether you're building a content-rich website or enterprise application, MailySearch delivers the experience your users expect and deserve. For a limited time, CodeStory users can get 2 months free. Use the promo code CODESTORY, all one word, at checkout. Just go to MailySearch.com and get started today. That's MEILI search.com. I'm curious about scalability, right? Where did scalability come into play? Either maybe it came into play in architecture early days, or have there been interesting areas where you've had to fight scalability as you've grown?
Scalability mattered almost from day one, because going back with Levo, the pitch of the product is, hey, Levo automatically discovers all of your APIs in your environment and automates the continuous security testing so that you release secure APIs to production. And that's a bold promise, because every enterprise is a little snowflake in itself. They run applications in different ways, often multiple ways within the same company by different teams. And we are selling to very large enterprises, and some of these enterprises have very highly scalable environments, like some of them even processing millions and millions, if not billions of API calls every day. Our solution has to be highly scalable for these environments, for the API call volumes. So starting with our eBPF sensor, we had to bake in a lot of elements into the design and architecture with respect to scale, so that can we install one sensor on a single machine that works with the most minimal resources, but captures traffic from even dozens of applications running on that machine. Some of our customers are like very high volume B2C, running like craziest amounts of API traffic. And some customers, for example, we ran into, they were running the largest EC2 machines where, for their own reasons, but they were running 200 plus applications or application pods next to our sensor, and this one sensor had to capture traffic from those. So there were like various scale related requirements from our customers. And the fact that we went to very large enterprises to sell this product, we had to solve them. We had to have great answers. I still remember there were like, several of our customer meetings where like even dozen people joined some calls asking all kinds of questions about like, how does this scale? Is your solution secure? How is it architected? So we were like forced to solve all of this from day one. And thanks to my AppDynamics experience, that came in really handy. And we have architected our solution and built it for scale so that we win all these enterprise customers. Like at least we don't lose on those aspects.
So as you step out on the balcony and look across all that you've built with Levo specifically, what are you most proud of?
Yeah, we are really proud of product that we have built. Like I said, like the scalability, the security architecture and all of it. But more importantly, I think, I must say we are proud of the team that we have built, because the team has built this product. I'm really proud of the team because we are like 4-year-old and 2 people have finished. Apart from me, 2 other people have already finished 4 years in the company. And I'm definitely proud of that, because that tells that we have created an environment where people would love to continue solving the problems and stick around rather than a continuous churn. We've always tried to build a great culture And this is the testament of that, like we have been fairly successful in building that kind of culture. So I'm definitely proud of the team and the product that this team has built. And we have been focusing on the GTM aspects of it, but overall across the board, not just engineering, but several verticals of our company, we are really proud of the people that we have.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
Some of the classical mistake is not building a GTM early enough for your company. We didn't think that, hey, we build and they will come. And some people say that, Reddy, you go build and they will come. But we didn't. We were not that naive. But at the same time, I think we haven't put enough weight on the GTM engine from early enough. And it's a little tough because without having a great product, sometimes we just start marketing and trying to sell also, it won't fly. Finding that balance is not easy. And I would say we tilted more towards a product than GTM. Eventually, I think that has come to our help because with our technical differentiation, we ended up closing some great logos, and that has actually created this positive feedback loop and created great credibility for us, even though we didn't have a lot of marketing and all going.
Okay, well, let's move forward then. So tell me what the future looks like for Levo, for the product and for the team.
It's looking great, especially last couple of quarters have been great. In fact, coincidentally, I just published Q2 updates on LinkedIn, sharing with the wider audience. The Q2 was great. It was the best in terms of the number of net new logos that we have closed. We have a great pipeline that we built in the last couple of quarters. And the GTM engine that I was talking about, although we started late, we have great people joining our sales and marketing team. In the last couple of quarters, we made humongous progress there. And it just starts to feel like the GTM engine is working. So I'm pretty excited. And in addition to that, we have also been thinking about what next in the product as well. We released our MCP server recently, unlocking some net new use cases like opening API security, information and intelligence for AI tools and AI agents. And we are now about to enter into securing MCP servers and AI applications. So pretty excited about the product roadmap and all the new logos that we are working with and all the new pipeline that our GTM has unlocked.
Let's switch to you, Buchi. Who influences the way that you work? Person or many persons or something you look up to, and why?
I would say many people. I think personally, my family members, like my grandma, my uncle, had huge influence with respect to my core fundamental values of how we should be working hard and how to give your best every day and all that. But I think Naval Ravikant has had huge influence as well. I have never met him, but I just watching him on Twitter and watching his videos. I think he's one of the best thinkers of the modern world. Whatever he writes, not just that tweet from, but in general, whatever he shares has been a huge influence in the recent times on how to think about the world, go to first principles, and keep improving on a daily basis.
Last question, Buchi. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit with Levo and many times, really?
Learn to listen to your mentors, listen to your customers, listen to your advisors, investors, everybody. Listening is a great skill that you need to, especially because you said young entrepreneurs, sometimes they lack the industry experience, which is fine in some cases, but the experience teaches a lot. And with great listening, you can actually tap into some of those experiences so that they can avoid doing the same mistakes that others have done and save time and get there fast. And in addition to that, I would say have patience. Great things take time and you got to have patience and you got to keep working at it, especially in today's world of everything instant gratification. I see some youngsters, some young people having less patience. Less patience is good in certain areas. Sometimes that's what makes them go hard at things and all this, but great things take time and you got to, for example, I was listening to some podcast episodes on your core story as well, for the founder of Ashika, and he was telling how long it took for the initial product aggregator to be taken by a lot of people. Things like that, the great things take time and have some patience.
Well, that's fantastic advice. Well, Buchi, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling the creation story of Levo.
Thank you very much, Noah. Really appreciate it and enjoyed being on the show.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
Hi, I'm Kristen Bell, and if you know my husband Dax, then you also know he loves shopping for a car. Selling a car? Not so much.
We're really doing this, huh?
Thankfully, Carvana makes it easy. Answer a few questions, put in your VIN or license, and done. We sold ours in minutes this morning, and they'll come pick it up and pay us this afternoon.
Bye-bye, truckie.
Of course, we kept the favorite.
Hello, other truckie.
Sell your car with Carvana today. Terms and conditions apply.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
When your company earns unlimited 2% cash back on all purchases with Capital One, that's serious business. So Steven at SandCloud got a serious business card, the Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One.
We used our 2% cash back to help build our retail presence.
Savvy, Steven.
And we get big purchasing power, so our business can spend more and earn more.
The Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus.